Let's get in the second part of 41 day. Okay, would you like to contribute on any matter, on any kind of principle or rule? If that is really against what heart, what I'm asking here, you look like perplexed person. You mustn't have to be like that kind of person. You have little bit and no knowledge about everything. So don't stay as a like how you don't know anything else or something else. So you mustn't have to contribute when you have when everything is against that kind of rule and principle is against ethical and moral things. In that case you mustn't have to follow that kind of things. Even that has you are actually all the things are like characteristics and features are actually appearing and seeming ahead of you, and you are still what chasing that kind of dreams. That kind of whatever are written on that kind of principle or in that kind of rule. So it is not better. It is better always to focus on what is wrong, what is I'm not saying about that. That is actually saying in a wrong way. Okay, I must not repeat that word. If something is really lucrative, that can even help for further progress. In that case you can perform better. You must have to contravene or something like that. If something is really how disgusting or you come to discuss and you have a lot of distinctions and differences, and you all the things are whatever you have searching, you had investigated, you have researched, that's are wrong. In that case we must have to go we must have to be what no, we mustn't have to be impartial person in that case. We have to be familiar with that case, and we have to figure out these things. If we will come to figure out all these things in our life, in that case, what your life will be really luminous, really sparkling, and also can be how lightning, and it has to be. So, have you ever mad anything? Whatever you are reading, even in your book, whatever is what said among the student by your teacher or something like that, you must have to invent, for your further knowledge, for your proper memorization, summarization, or what that kind of knowledge and wisdom will always stay in within your with you. And then we have to be how really familiar with that kind of things or topic. Only in that case we can perform better what in next day or something like that. So I want to say you keep going, brother. Even you have a lot of obstacles in your life, even you might you may demotivate and you can't inspire yourself when you feel like you are not you haven't enough. You have done a lot but you haven't enough knowledge, sufficient knowledge, still haven't still yet. So it in that case it, yeah, and sometimes somewhat you feel like you must have already have all these things, it will be better. But in this case you can fall in a dilemma. In that case you can uh, pull yourself and push your journey further towards positivity. So in that case you must have to feel whatever you are doing in your life that are just for when in the name of overthinking, you are giving mental tortures or something like that to yourself. You can't even know what are the disadvantages and uh, demerits behind these things. So you only in the case of while searching for only beneficial things, you can have to embrace and tolerate endure a lot of kind of that kind of negative things in your life. So always stay always ready to face all these things. So if you come to what you have to instinct all these things. So how can you what do you know the meaning of insinuate? That means suggest something softly. So if you come to insinuate to someone about something, in that case you must have uh, initially you must have enough knowledge and wisdom before saying and acting and talking on that topic or something like that. If you don't have enough and sufficient knowledge, in that case it would be better if you stay calm, silent, without you have to go ahead without sharing any knowledge or that kind of thing. It is better and you always have to do. So if you have enough knowledge, you want to share some informative what informations or something like that. In that case you have to insinuate, it is better. and it always works. So whenever you have to give a clarification judgment, whenever you come to what judge, evaluate, or what oversee, in that case you have to scrutinize. If you can scrutinize, in that case your whatever you are doing in your life or for your study, you won't have enough knowledge on that matters, on that kind of thing. In that case you feel like how you are doing anything, whatever you are doing in your life, that is really worthless, and you come to assume all this thing in that way. So but you mustn't have to feel in that way, because you are everyone's who is already successful, and people who are in the process of becoming what successful person, in our life. But what they are actually facing in their phase of this life, or entire during their that kind of journey, they might have said, or what they feel like this is really tedious, and also how really frustrating, they sometimes somehow they uh, came up to this journey. But everyone feels that, but it is they come to say it is really tedious and hideous, I can't go forward with this journey. So in that case you have to think about yourself. Only in that case you can go move forward with your positivity or something like that, if once you have, once you can learn and recognize all the things, whatever on what matters, or that kind of thing, you have to scrutinize or something that is really worthless and what redundant. In that case you must not have to research even a little bit on that word, and that is always better. So be always how diplomatic person. You don't, you might have researched or investigated a lot when you are how, when you have enough and sufficient knowledge about everything. In that case everybody come to restrict, and they won't come to disparate you. In that case if you need reputation, prestige, or harmony, liberation from this from even from your own life, in that case what you must have to be how really proficient person. Only in that case everybody will come to treat you as like how a really uh, good professor and that kind of person. Otherwise nobody will come to say you what the hell you are doing in this way, in this era, and in this generation. People will come to say you and judge you in this way. I know a lot about every people, whatever they are doing in their life and whatever they are struggling for their, they are doing anything for their aim, also mean, motive or purpose, whatever they are mobilizing, even their own mentality, their resources, whatever they have, they are doing what for the achievements, for proper achievements. So they have to. If they don't, then they won't get anything in their life, and that would be really how very terrible, and they can even feel somewhat, they feel they are fragile and feeble, or what they can't get anything in their life. They always stay in exhaustions or something like that. In that case they always come to this what disdain themselves, you know in that case how they can move wide, and how they can move forward to positivity or something like that. So it is better to think what own positivity or something like that, so if you can, only in that case you can go move forward with positivity. Or otherwise you can, you feel like your journey, whatever you are doing is doing it with your speed, what mentality or something like that. In that case you will fall in dilemma or something like that. So it is really hard. What do you think? It's really uh, ne- disgusting. You must have to think this way. If there is a person who is really empathic, empathic, in that case we must have to respect that person, because he has enough knowledge about that kind of thing or something like that. So in that case, that is really, that kind of person is really appreciating, our heart. We must have to uh, again learn a little bit knowledge from that person, if you can. Otherwise don't you can delete. even your own knowledge or something like that.